I also spoke to George Benitez. He specializes in NATO and transatlantic relations. He has quite a different take on Tuesday's developments.
I think the international community has been very clear, particularly in the vote in the UN Security Council, to try to condemn and to stop this referendum in the Crimea. We can't tell if the people are happy. We can't even tell if the people are sincere in their vote for this referendum, because there were 18,000 Russian soldiers holding guns to their heads while this voting was taken on. So there's no way that this can be a legitimate vote.
You know, a few weeks ago, you were here on CCTV America, and you said that you would like to see Moscow behaving more responsibly and cooperating with the U.S., the UN, and the EU. And of course, that was right after Yanukovych left Ukraine. What is your assessment of what has happened now?
Well, I think we've seen Putin has totally repudiated using any of the normal and accepted levers for international mediation and even resorting to international law. If he had legitimate concerns about the fate of the Russian people in Crimea or in Ukraine, there are international institutions that he could have gone to see and investigate, to find out what the truth was and to protect their rights. That's what they're there for, to protect the rights of minorities. But he didn't resort to that. Instead of trying to find peaceful measures, he tried to use force and sent in tens of thousands of Russian soldiers to settle this with the gun.
Well, what can the international community do at this point? You know, Putin doesn't seem to really care much about the condemnation coming from several countries. He's not bothered at all by sanctions. What's the recourse now?
I think we need to have some very strong sanctions, not the feeble sanctions that have been implemented so far. In fact, a few hours after President Obama issued his sanctions, the Russian Duma unanimously voted to tell the U.S. and the EU to sanction all of them, not just the 11 on there, because they don't take these small sanctions seriously. But if we impose serious sanctions such as especially absolutely and immediately canceling all military sales to Russia, that would get Putin's attention.
Do you see things taking a more violent turn at this point? There have been reports of a Ukrainian soldier shot and killed on Crimea. Could that be the tipping point for something more to happen?
I'm very concerned that has been the tipping point. Just before I came here, I saw a report from the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, which says that they have authorized their forces to use weapons in self-defense. So now that that Putin's forces have crossed threshold, we may see more violence in Ukraine.
What about the G8 coming up in just a few months? Do you see a full G8? Is it possible that these other countries can kick Russia out of the G8? This is supposed to be taking place in Sochi.
Right, and I think, again, this is another small step instead of a significant sanction. Instead of just canceling this one meeting of the G8, I think that the G7 should have thrown Russia out of the G8 and gone back to their original form.
All right, George Benitez, we appreciate your time and your insight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.